and welcome back to another episode of Activation Podcast. It's me, your host, Dr. Nazif, back again with another amazing guest. Today, we have with us Heath Jones. So, a little bit about Heath is that he is an Australian health and fitness expert dedicated to helping people over 50 staying strong, independent, and live life to the fullest. As a founder of the Active and Ageless Fitness Center, a registered nurse, exercise scientist, a personal trainer, a former Army infantryman, Heath brings the rare blend of clinical knowledge, grit, and real life experience to healthy aging. Hello, Heath. How are you doing this wonderful evening?
Yeah, I'm very good. Thank you, Doc.
Thank you. It's so wonderful to learn about you and the wonderful things that you have done, be coming from a health background, but also serving in the army, and now you're completely into your passion project that is helping people leading a healthy life. So, can you tell me a little bit about yourself to our audiences and what actually led your passion to be where you are in today?
Yeah, sure. I think you've given that a pretty good intro already, but I'll embellish upon that a little bit and say, yeah, as you alluded to, I was probably when I first got out of school and university, a registered nurse in emergency for many years. I then decided to join the military and followed in my big brother's footsteps and joined the Australian Army. I was in there for about 4 years, like many other people in the military, especially in the army, do get injured. I had to get medically discharged, unfortunately,
Mhm,
but that was the way that it was back then. I kind of went back into the medical field, but a little bit differently. I did quite a bit of upskilling and ended up working as a remote medic, mostly on oil and gas facilities offshore overseas. Did that for the next 8 years or so. And I always had this concurrently, I became a trainer whilst working overseas. There's always had a passion for health and fitness. And then, yeah, I had this idea that I wanted to specifically target and train mature adults. I had this for years, this idea. I probably had it since I was
mhm,
really. And so you go into the gym space and see a lot of, mature adults training. Good on them over there, but a lot of times they may have been doing incorrect exercises or probably in a gym where there was a lot of big meatheads there. A lot of these people were looking a little intimidated, and I felt really sorry for them. I was really proud of them that they were having a go and doing the exercise. That a lot of
mhm.
that as they were probably had their first warning from their GP that you need to kind of lose some weight or increase your strength, and they probably felt and looked a little bit lost. So yeah, I had the idea of opening an overseas gym, but I still continued to work overseas on the oil and gas rigs for several more years, and then yeah, with multiple injuries myself, back operations now, one being a spinal fusion. There was a period of time where I was told by, I suppose you'd say, well-meaning medicos and doctors and health professionals not to really do anything for the rest of my life, and that was a pretty depressing phase of my life. I am extremely active. I love surfing, I love training, I love boxing, hiking, skateboarding, spearfishing, all sorts of things. I love it. So to get told I kind of really couldn't do anything because of my injuries, I actually heeded that advice and did that for years, and it didn't make me any better. It made me significantly worse physically and mentally. So-called protecting my body. And I suppose around that time, I kind of started thinking, well, I felt aged beyond my years purely because I wasn't
Right.
able to exercise, which I believe is the panacea of more of a prolonged youth, is being able to.
Mhm.
So yeah, I kind of decided to start a gym for over 50s. Unfortunately, that coincided with our when the world took a completely different turn with
Yeah, yeah.
COVID, and it was a very challenging to start a gym during that time. But thankfully, I persisted. Thankfully, I had some really good people around. Now, but yeah, we've got three locations now, soon to be four, and we're making a difference in a lot of people's lives, and love what I do. Yeah, so we're now, yeah, health and wellness and longevity experts in the field, and absolutely love what we're doing. And thankfully, there's a big push towards kind of mature adults fitness, especially around the strength training component.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's wonderful the work that you're doing, and for sure you're making a difference in people's lives, especially This is not common that having a dedicated gym for those who are over 50 and thinking about their health and wellness. You did mention you had suffered injury and then you had surgeries, but having those back steps, and now then you transformed yourself into a workaholic, into a fitness expert and enthusiast. It's such a, I'm sure the journey wasn't easy at all. You had to had a lot of resistance within yourself, a lot of motivations. Really
Yeah.
commendable work that you did. So just talk about you helping wonderful people who are aged over 50 to stay strong, independent, and live their life to the fullest. That includes your gym, the Active and Ageless Fitness Center. Recognizing that you're working with people who are 50 years of old, how does your definition of strength actually adapt? Or how does that definition change we get older?
Yeah, great question. So a lot of times when we're younger, we purely train for aesthetics, meaning we want to look good. Okay. When we get older, we train. We're still going to look good. Everyone wants to look good at any age, but you're training for functionality. You're training for improvements in your activities of daily living, whether that's carrying heavy shopping bags, lifting up a small child, whether that's to help with certain chronic diseases you may have, whether that's osteopenia, the precursor to osteoporosis, whether that's diabetes, exercise and maintaining a healthy body weight, help
Hmm.
with anything like that, any chronic diseases. But yeah, going back to what I was saying before, it really just gives people an extra lease on life and it makes life easier. I have a bit of a personal saying that I say, I train hard and not everyone has to train as hard as I do, but I train myself to a high level in a controlled environment, meaning the gym, because it makes life easier. So that's the same for my clients and my members. You come into the gym, we train you to move better, to move,
Hmm.
to be able to lift heavier, to move faster, move with more confidence, more agility, better balance. So when you go and do whatever that may be in the real world, you can do it better. You can do it, it's more enjoyable. You can do it with less pain. You can do it safer, whether that is kind of, say, going out there playing golf or even hiking or playing tennis or swimming. You know, your strength train with us, you get out there and do this kind of activities, we'll make it better for you. You got to have the strength to be able to do that. There's
That's
also
true.
like I said, the safety factor. You know, I've had some members that have fallen out of cars and trying to get out of the car and they get
Hmm.
caught up in the footwell and have managed to land on their feet, stand up and keep going. And they're fine. Had they have not been doing the specific type of training that we prescribe in our programming, they may have not
Hmm.
been so lucky. I think there was a period of time where the aging population just grew old gracefully. They just accepted it. And I think that's probably really been in the last, say, 50 years or so since we've kind of become forcefully a little bit lazier with the modern technology. We don't have to be as physical in our normal everyday life now. So people are just aging at a more
Hmm.
rapid rate because they're not needing to lift up heavy items just to kind of, I don't know, go and fetch a pail of water or go and
Hmm.
get food from a farm or whatever they may have done previously. Nowadays, we can movement is a choice.
Right.
So
Yeah,
we
that's true.
don't need to do a lot of these things, activities and strength bearing or load bearing activities to stay alive.
Hmm.
We need to kind of almost force ourselves to go and train at a gym or do whatever we do now to live a better life. So yeah, strength is so important. And thankfully now in the last, it's really been through people like yourself and these kind of really educational podcasts and some think tanks out there that are very smart in this field,
Hmm.
we really are starting to see a shift towards the importance of strength at any age. And the amount of people that I've had that have come into us and said, "Oh, look, I'm here now, but I think I'm a
Being
little bit too
enthusiastic,
old."
right?
You can always do something.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can always do something, improve your range of motion, improve your strength, improve your balance a little bit in all those fields. And it makes for a better life, a healthier and happier life for people as well.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so wonderful to know, Heath. And so my next question to you would be then, you are getting all these people who are enthusiastic about staying healthy and fit even in the age of over 50. So what do you think what are the mindset shifts that are most important for people who feels like it's too late to start over when they get to a certain age?
Yeah, and look, I do understand. Look, there's been a lot of people that may have not done anything for decades since they were at school.
Mhm.
That sometimes could be 20, 30, 40 years. That the challenge or even getting over that kind of hurdle to come to a place like us to kind of say, look, I'm here now. I need to do something. My children are telling me to do something. Got friends that exercise, my physio, my doctor, whoever. And I can sympathize with these people. It must be excruciatingly intimidating, especially going to a normal gym and while we do what we do. But even coming to us, if you haven't done anything for many, many years,
Mhm, mhm.
it's tough. But the hardest part, like we hear all the time with a lot of things, is getting started. And and not only that is if you've been inactive for decades, in some
Mhm.
instances, you're not going to get overnight results. You just have to be
Right.
consistent. You have to believe in yourself, and it's we don't kind of train for 6 weeks, then give up because we're feeling better. Human being and the human body is designed to do some form of movement every day, and that doesn't have to be a crazy intense workout session every day, but you need to do something. There's days like today, I want to stay inside with the fan on because it's extremely hot here in Sydney, Australia. It is really hot. But I'll wait till it gets. I mean, I did actually exercise earlier this morning with some mates, but later on this afternoon, when the sun goes down a little bit, I'll go
Mhm.
swim. I live nice and close to the beach. So whatever that is for you, we can always do something. So yeah, thankfully, once again, I think the mindset is changing as well. We know the importance of movement.
Mhm.
A lot of people that still probably struggling to adapt that change in mindset, but thankfully we do see that a bit of a glacial shift,
Shift, right?
but it is happening, which is great.
Yes.
It's music to my ears because I love health and fitness, and I know and I've seen the changes it has made in people's lives.
Mhm.
I've seen so many people completely overhaul their lives in their 60s, in their 70s, to see this shift and this we've been able to assist in giving these people almost a new lease of life. It is pretty damn cool. That's why we do what we do.
Wonderful to know. Thank you so much for sharing that, Heath. So, my next question to you would be like, we know, like, to stay fit or to have that motivation. So, we get the motivation and then we start that process of being healthy or doing some workout or even having a walk outside. Just as you mentioned, there are different ways to stay fit or different routines that we can follow. Someone like swimming, some like walking, but I personally think it's more difficult once you start that to hold that in, to have that motivation and discipline to continue that. So, how do you think, how can discipline and consistency help rebuild confidence after setbacks or like after going into a certain thing that you want to do but losing motivation? So, how does discipline and consistency help to prevent that?
Look, discipline's a funny thing. We don't all have it, and we need to kind of discipline almost ourselves in the way that we see best for ourselves. I mean, it might come easy for you. I'm not sure, but I know for me, it's pretty easy. But I don't. It helped me being in the military for years. But now, I think one thing with exercise, I don't think there's really too many times I wake up and say, "Yes, I'm off to exercise today. I'm going to train." No, I don't think anyone. I mean, there's some people, and maybe I do it sometimes. It's very rarely, but I do what I do nowadays. I try not to
Mm-hmm.
think about it. I just know it's part of my life. It's part of my routine. So that's the way I suppose I motivate myself or discipline myself. I get up,
Mm-hmm.
go and exercise. As soon as I start exercising, you kind of forget about the fact that you didn't want to do it in the first place. And then by the time you finish, you're like, I am not taking that back. I've done it. I've
Yeah, yeah,
finished.
that's true.
Feel better. I feel alive. I feel strong. I feel that blood pumping, those endorphins that they're kicking around my body, and I'm feeling good. So I think it is hard, and it even kind of the motivation. It is impossible to motivate anyone. You really need to motivate yourself. We can educate. We
Mm-hmm.
resources that can provide a bit of inspiration, but motivation is inherently intrinsic. And look, I think you do after a period of time, if you can self discipline, if you're starting an exercise program, you haven't exercised for a long time, you start it, understand the process. It takes a long time, especially if you're undoing
Mm-hmm.
of poor eating, inactivity, excessive sitting.
Mm,
It'll take you, let's just say 2 months. I usually say to people the first 6 to 8 weeks, it's not gonna be fun.
it's true.
Yeah, your body's gonna
That's true.
feel weird. I don't know, you're gonna have different aches and pains and, wake up with sore muscles and it's just it takes a while for your body to adapt and evolve. But that's kind of it's a little bit different for everyone. But I usually say 8 to 10 weeks or thereabouts, you start to feel good. You're sleeping better. You're craving healthier food. Other people say to you, "Hey, you're looking good. It's your skin's clearer. You got a bit of a glow to you. Your posture
Hmm.
is more upright. You get more
Yeah.
confident." It's just becomes kind of that real change, and that when you start to feel like that, you don't want to go back to what you felt before
Yeah. That's
because you
true.
feel so much better. So that in itself is we're remotivating ourselves. You got to get over that hurdle. You got to get to that point where you feel better. I like training with other people, with friends and mates. We keep each other accountable. So I think that's really
Hmm.
important.
That's good.
Yeah. So I think that's a fantastic way to train. Look, it's more fun training with somebody else. You can have a bit of a chat in between sets or before and after the workout. When you're accountable to each other. I know that there's times if I don't sleep well and I said to my mate, let's train at 6 in the morning, I will be there because I do not want to let a mate down. If I train
Hmm.
by myself that morning and I didn't sleep well, I'll be like, okay, maybe I'll stay in bed for another hour, pull the covers over and, hit snooze
Yeah.
thing. But yeah, I think
That's a common
accountability is
thing.
a big thing to help us keep discipline as well. Masters are really good. And
Hmm.
just understand, like I said before, is activity and movement is something that we're designed to do. So move your body and your future self will definitely thank you for it.
For sure. Thank you so much for sharing that, Heath, that wonderful words of wisdom for your from your own experience and the things that you've seen working with your clients. How do you think resilience play a role in staying active and engaged in the later part of the life?
Mm, another good one. So resilience is something that we all face adversity, whether it's long term and more, we'll just say chronic adversity, whether it's around illness or illness with ourselves or with our family, friends, whether that's some type of adversity with our career, our business, finances, where we geographically are located. But then we have certain things that happen to us on a daily basis. So we get caught in traffic. We get, I don't know, a bill that's unexpected, or I don't know, we may have been treated rudely or unfairly,
Hmm.
whatever that may be. And I think resilience is it's almost having an external voice look down upon you and say, "You're not alone. You'll get over this. You will." Everyone goes through it, and I think it's really hard when we're in that kind of state where adversity. Sometimes it's a little bit hard to see the light at the end of the tunnel. We get this almost like a feeling that we're going to be like in this particular phase forever, whether we're injured or
Right.
unwell or we've lost all of our money. Resilience is the ability to kind of not only move forward, but move forward with purpose and move forward and use that as a bit of an educational process, whatever
Hmm.
that may have happened. And yeah, we're not going to we just say get over it because we learn from that and we don't want to. I think we want to use whatever has happened to us as either a motivating factor, either an educational
Hmm.
piece, we can kind of learn
Right.
from it. There's not a person in the world that has done a few uh, laps around the sun that hasn't faced some type of challenge. If they haven't, well, lucky them. But well, actually, not lucky them because I think that some of the biggest setbacks and challenges that I've had in my life, whether that's been in career, whether that's been financial, my health, my back, I don't think I'd be sitting here now talking to you, Doc, if I hadn't had my multiple back injuries and
Right.
operations because that was one of the motivating factors for me to start a gym for over 50s and then kind of really discover my passion. Like I said, I do all sorts of crazy activities now. I was heli biking in New Zealand a few weeks back. We were jumping out of helicopters on mountain
Hmm.
bikes, riding down the hill. And I want people out there, and they don't need to be doing heli biking or surfing big waves, but they don't need to be doing that. But when if you'd have seen me 10 years ago and I was out of shape and depressed and in pain every single day, I
Hmm.
see the light at the end of the tunnel. Thankfully, there were some people out there that had shone the light on me to a certain extent, but really, you've got to get yourself out of that that predicament, or at least improve the situation that you're in. And it's resilience. Yeah, we do build up the emotional calluses in life that you might have heard. David Goggins, I think he coined that phase, the emotional calluses. But yeah, it's they use them as a learning tool. We all have it. We all face adversity and learn from it. Yeah.
That's so true. That's so true. Thank you so much, Heath, for sharing those perspectives. I wanted to know a bit about your active and ageless fitness center. So, what kind of services do you provide? Who is that for? Can you speak to a little bit about that to our audiences?
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, we are specifically for over 50s.
Mm-hmm.
We do group classes, different levels of group classes. We don't, when we do an initial consult on a prospective member, we don't just kind of throw them into classes. As opposed to we care for them a little bit more and nurture them through a process by doing certain assessments on them. They give us an indication of what level they are with their strength, their cardiovascular fitness and endurance,
Mm-hmm.
their mobility. And then we kind of give them some guidance around what type of classes we think would be suitable for them, for their goals and what we think that they need to improve upon. Yeah, that's active and ages, even kind of moving forward. Yeah, we are a gym. We do have group classes, but I suppose we like to be a little bit more involved in their journey than just provide exercise classes. Do events every kind of 4 months. We bring in kind of experts from different fields, different kind of healthy aging experts, and do a really fun night. We get these people to educate and inspire all our members. So we try to provide a bit of a community feel to the gyms as well, because a lot of our members are retired and they don't have that same kind of camaraderie that they may have in the
Mm-hmm.
workplace. So it's really sweet. I see them nearly every day that they're on Facebook and they're all kind of all out having dinner with each other and going for walks and that with each other. And it almost brings a tear to my eye each time I do see that, because we've been a big part of it, these people coming together, and they've come together with a common goal, and the
For
common
sure,
goal is
they
to live
did.
life to the fullest at any age. So that's why we've thankfully been a bit of a vehicle in allowing them to do that.
That's so wonderful. And thank you so much for explaining that work. So, dear listeners, if you are, I know a lot of my listeners are coming from Australia. So, if you want to indeed check out Active and Ageless fitness program, so please feel free to visit activeandageless.com.au. I'll put the link in the description of the podcast and YouTube. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you sharing your wonderful words of wisdom and to show our listeners that age is just a number. Fitness can definitely be a active part of a person who is even over the age of 50. And the example of the resilience that you have provided, I'm sure my audiences who are within that age group would really find that helpful. And I hope they do check out your resources, dear listeners. If you do want to know more about Heath Jones, feel free to visit their website, but also you can visit activeactionlab.com and just type in Heath Jones names, Heath space Jones, and you will see his webpage coming in. You will get the information, his links to the website and everything. If you do have any questions, feel free to reach out to him. Thank you so much, Heath. I really, really appreciate your time and commitment to join this podcast. Have a wonderful day, and I'm sure I'll connect with you again soon, mate.
Yeah, thank you. I love telling my story. And if I've inspired one extra person out there to get their body moving, you are stronger, you're more capable, and you are more resilient than what you think.
For sure. Dear listeners, you were listening to me and Heath Jones. If you have liked this video, please feel free to put a thumbs up and share this with your friends and family or anyone who would find value to. I'll meet you again with another episode with another amazing guest. Up until then, stay active, take action. Take care, everyone.